In this video, I'm going to show you some of the updates we have for our score chart. Now, this will apply to several of the charts types inside of the score category, but I'll show them to you just on the basic score chart. Now, what you can see here is some of the things that we can do with some of the updates. I want to walk through them one by one. But first of all, just the basic score chart, we did change a couple of the defaults. You'll notice that when you create the score chart, everything lines up and is centered before you actually had to style it to get it all centered here. The other small change that we made, but is kind of nice, is that when you create a score chart, the aggregate type defaults to count. So when you set it up, you just hit save and then you get this chart output. Now, a couple of the other changes I want to go through one by one. We have customers asking us to do things like this, where they want the value of the score to be put inside of a sentence. We have the value of the score where they want it inside of a paragraph or something like that. Previously, what you would have to do is you'd create a score chart and then you would work to line up a text element next to it, and then you just want to always guarantee that the value wouldn't overrun the text and things like that. So what we've now have is the ability to do what we call inline labels. So I'm going to go ahead and let's create a new score chart just to start from scratch. So I'll choose the score, we'll choose a table, and we'll just say incident. Let's add a condition to this. We'll just say active is true, and then again count is there, so we'll hit save. So we got 10,182 incidents that are active. So again, this is what you get just straight out of the box. But let's try to add some inline text to that. If we go to style and we go to inline label, I can type a sentence like that, and then I need to click the toggle, turn it on. You can see over here that we start to see some of the changes. I'll just move this over here so we can see it. Now, there are a few things that we can do here. One is I have the title of the chart on there, and likely isn't going to be valuable if I'm trying to do this, so I'm going to go ahead and turn that off. And I can do some styling here. I can change the font size, family. I can do all those kinds of things. The other thing we have here is this inline spacing. So we do know that the spacing between the text and the value is going to change based on the use case. So we give you some options here to make that what you want. But I'll stick with just medium for now. So that's pretty nice. Now the other thing is you can see up here I have the value that's it goes after the sentence, but maybe I want it be before. So you can position switch the positions of the value and the text. So that's very nice. Again, if I don't want it, I can turn it off and I can just get that value. But let's go ahead and leave it on. Now something else that you'll see is right now my this value is the same color as my text, and that's because I have it that way. Up here you can see that this is a different color and this is the same color. Now I can go through and I can do my normal score styles and I can change the text color of that, and then it would change the color. But we've had some requests to do some changes on the threshold conditional coloring. So let's go look at that. We'll go up to our other score chart here. So if I go into style, we go to threshold styles. Again, we have our at or above threshold or below. So let's go ahead, and it's at 0. So let's go ahead and just select something here. And so there's a blue, and we can see that the threshold is 0, and so it's above that threshold, and so we conditionally color it that way. Let's go ahead and set this to 40,000. And now we can see that it's below and it's black. Let's go ahead and change that to red, something like that. So that's really nice to have. Let's go ahead and make it above. But sometimes what happens here is we've gotten the feedback that they don't want just the value color to change. What they actually want is they want something more bold, something that stands out a little bit more. So we have this element to color option now. So again, you can just out of the box get the score to change, or we could change the background. And that will change the whole container of the value here. So again, I can, if I wanted to turn off that, I could do that. And so now when I'm when the threshold meets one of those conditions, the whole container changes. So let's go back, look at that. Again, that's if it's above, we have it set to, let's go change that to a green color maybe. Oh, there we go. And if it's below, it's going to be red. So those are just some examples that are pretty common, but now you can see how this stands out and is a lot more bold than just changing the color. Depends on the use case. You know, if you're writing a sentence and you want this to change, probably don't want this boldness here. But again, I think these are pretty impactful and will have a lot of use from our clients as you build some of your reports, but they're things that we felt were big impact, but maybe small in concept. So hopefully you like those changes, and I'd love to hear any of your feedback.